Did Bob Iger, CEO of the Disney company, make a giant whoopsie and admit that Star Wars, Marvel, and even the Disney princesses brands are in decline? Folks, it looks like that might have happened, and we'll show you why. All coming from an announcement where they were stumping for Lilo and Stitch. It's a dandy of a day, and we're happy that you've come our way. Folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to change hearts and minds, one video at a time, simply by telling the truth with a capital T. As we get ready to dive in today, consider clicking the like button, and we're connecting dots to show you that Star Wars and Marvel might not be so hot. It's a big slip-up, maybe from the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, and we've got the info right now. All right, out of that Park Place, Bob Iger accidentally reveals Star Wars and Marvel retail slump while stumping for Lilo and Stitch. Oh, they're gonna love this article. Oh, they're gonna love it. This is so much fun. Folks, the joy in the job sometimes is opening Pandora's box and telling you the stuff that, we started figuring out the math behind the scenes and said, wait a minute, and nobody's talking about it until now. Disney CEO Bob Iger recently made headlines during the company's Q3 2025 earnings call. Stock went down following that, when he announced that Lilo and Stitch has become the second most lucrative merchandise brand under the Disney umbrella, trailing only Mickey and Friends. While this may seem like a charming underdog success story, especially considering Lilo and Stitch was never a box office juggernaut until now, it actually signals deeper issues for some of Disney's biggest intellectual properties. The fact that Stitch merchandise is now outselling products from massive franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney princesses should be a major red flag for investors and fans alike. Historically, Marvel and Star Wars have been merchandising powerhouses, each generating billions in annual retail sales. The Disney Princess line, too, has long been one of the company's most reliable revenue streams. If Stitch, a character from a modestly performing 2002 film that grossed just $273 million globally, has leapfrogged all three of these pillars in retail performance, it implies that those franchises have experienced a significant decline in consumer demand. But how much? Well, folks, to make this article, we got us some receipts, baby. Don't you love them? It says, in fact, reports indicate that Stitch-related merchandise generated an astonishing $2.6 billion in retail sales in 2024, an exponential rise from the $200 million it brought in just 5 years ago. Wow! 9 months ago, this is from the New York Times. 9 months ago, when Disney scheduled Lilo and Stitch for release in theaters on Memorial Day weekend, Mr. Bergman was cautiously optimistic about its chances. Even with no new content, Disney's Consumer Products Group had managed to expand sales of Stitch merch from $2.6 billion in 2024 from $200 million in 2019. Now, if we take that $2.6 billion from 2024 and we apply what Bob Iger said, we can figure out exactly how much they're alleging Lilo and Stitch made. It says, meanwhile, Lilo and Stitch is on track. This is from Bob Iger, directly from that earnings call. Meanwhile, Lilo and Stitch is on track to become the company's second largest licensed merchandise franchise this year, behind only Mickey Mouse, with more than 70% revenue growth compared to last year. Now, if we take the $2.6 billion reported in 2024, add 70%, we land at $4.42 billion for Stitch. And that's big, big money. That's fantastic money for Stitch. But it's bad for Star Wars, Disney princesses, and Marvel. Let's explain. Folks, if we scroll down just a little bit, even before rampant inflation, back in 2020, Star Wars was bringing in more than $3 billion per year. Today, if you apply the inflation that we've seen over the past 5 years, Star Wars, if it had just stayed the same as in 2020, would be bringing in over $5 billion. So if a single character, that's essentially Stitch, because Lilo's not a big merchandising thing, Stitch is. If a single character is outperforming the entire Star Wars portfolio now, it seems that both Star Wars and Marvel have cratered in retail sales. And I just want to remind people, Star Wars and Marvel, they have big sections of like entire aisles in the big box retailers. You go to Walmart to the toy aisle, there's going to be a whole section that's just for Star Wars, just for Marvel. But Disney Princesses is like an entire aisle. So the fact that Stitch all by itself is now heading to be the number 2, that the only way I see possible that can happen is that those other brands are in major decline. That's the only way I think this can occur. I think it's a big whoopsie-daisy by Bobby. I think he made an oopsie here. Panel, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, when you rank it, right? When you say, "Well, this is as good as this," and then we remember the brands and franchises that Bob you bought, it certainly doesn't look good. You can definitely extrapolate out that Marvel and Star Wars have seen significant decline. I believe they have. I mean, when you look at Star Wars, when you look at Marvel, I mean, well, Star Wars, what have you done for us lately, right? We haven't had a live action movie for a number of years now. What, since 2019? Is that right? And then we're going to have it 7 years later with The Mandalorian and Grogu next year. Great, awesome stuff. But again, it's like even the Mando stuff. The Mando stuff doesn't, I don't think, move the merch in quite the same way that maybe the original trilogy did, and certainly the sequel era films did when they were at their height right there. It's just they just haven't really moved anything, and there has been no enthusiasm to even get more Star Wars into the parks, even after Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has been established. For Marvel, I mean, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. A lot of people don't really have the confidence or faith in that brand, as we've seen with Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four should have been $1 billion hit. It isn't because the enthusiasm is drifted away.
Vash. It's a new IP, okay? It's new IP.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point. There's even a rumor out there. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a rumor out there suggesting that, well, if we approve a sequel for Fantastic Four First Steps after Doomsday, after it's been established, like they've been established in the Avengers franchise, then it'll be like so much better. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, there's no thought process there. Again, rumor, speculation, but again, still, I mean, it's just, I wouldn't be surprised if that's true.
Ron, I couldn't believe it when Iger said this. We were live with Valiant Renegade, and I said something out loud when it came out. It's amazing to me that Bob Iger would say to investors and not realize what he had just done, that all of the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, every Marvel character there is, all the sales combined for everything Marvel now amounts to less than Stitch. And all the Star Wars and everything amounts to less than Stitch. I couldn't believe that he said it. Ron, how do they not know that they just gave insight into one of the biggest L's that's underway for the company?
Well, I mean, it was Bob Iger who said it. I mean, come on, think about it. It's the only thing that he's ever known how to do is purchase things. But, the other thing is it possible that they also, without even thinking about it, provided their own fix? Like you saw with those posters for Stitch that were crossing over with the Princess brand. Well, that's how you do it right there. You create a Disney Plus show where Stitch is able to cross over with Star Wars, Marvel, Disney Princesses, any of the brands that they own it all. Just thinking about it, I'm like, okay, here's a way you could even tie it into the parks. This all takes place inside the imagination of the head of Figment, who is all about imagination. There's something I think there's something there. And then maybe they would at least sell more toys to kids who are watching Stitch. Maybe then they could have Darth Vader and fight Stitch. They certainly don't do Rey. Rey's not going to sell. Nobody wants to see Rey. This whole thing, it's so funny to me. Bob Iger maybe needs to learn how to word things better, or think about what they're revealing when they're doing these. It hasn't gone well for him in the past. This makes a lot more sense as to why they're not taking questions now.
Yeah, well, basically no. And Culture, let's play devil's advocate for a minute. Am I reading too much into this? Like, maybe we should just celebrate. Maybe we're taking the wrong tone here. Maybe we should say, whoopee, go Lilo and Stitch, you're doing fantastic. From my perspective, though, I don't see how it's possible. How it could be possible for a single character to outperform, every single Disney princess combined together, unless some of these other brands are in real trouble.
Well, actually, I wish I could help you play devil's advocate here. I can't. The future for any of the things that were the popular IPs when they were acquired by Disney is rehab projects at this point. They're all reclamation is another way to say it. Star Wars needs to be rebuilt from the ground up by somebody who cares and not somebody who's using it for political points. Again, it gets back to the identity politics that all of they injected all of their franchises with. And you've driven them all into the ground and because of the overuse of all of these characters, especially the ones that are now annoying to the fan base, like Ahsoka and others, you've driven people completely away. I'm looking forward and I'm thinking maybe he revealed more than we thought about how out of favor Star Wars was. And the fact that I don't think the Mando movie is going to drive anybody to the theaters. There's no hype for, Grogu and Mando anymore. I mean, it just doesn't exist. The Marvels have driven themselves completely out of relevance. Misusing the characters and misrepresenting them in many different ways left everybody with a bad taste in their mouth. And this is an example of what they created in when they already had a blueprint for what was going to work with the fan base. They went with what they thought that, well, the fan base is wrong. We're gonna do this. And ever since that maneuver, everybody should have recognized Star Wars is no longer Star Wars anymore because it's become something else entirely. Same thing with Marvel. Marvel is no longer what it was. The first 3 phases put out of your mind. This is a completely different thing. And if we accept that, maybe we won't be so upset and unhappy. I don't know. I just know that it was probably serendipitous that Bob let the cat out of the bag. We lost control of the 2 most valuable things we owned at the time. And I don't think they're ever coming back, bro. So as much as I want to be your devil's advocate, I won't. I'm not a big fan of the devil. I mean, Bob Iger. Bye-bye.
Jonas, are we getting a Stitch aisle at Les Targets and the Mart of Wall soon?
It would be foolish not to, but I would put Stitch in that same territory as Hello Kitty and Baby Yoda, although Stitch also has a little bit more of a boy appeal than Hello Kitty, because there's a lot of boys that wouldn't be caught dead with a Hello Kitty. And there's a little bit more on the boy side with Baby Yoda, but they tend to go a little cuter with him. I think Stitch is also not necessarily one that you have to put on the toy aisle, because that merchandise can be on clothing. That logo and that iconography can be on clothing. There's posters. Stitch has been kind of a evergreen brand for Disney. So this is one where, they need to do everything they can to promote Stitch, and they need some rides at the theme park too.
But they need to be softer. Well, they took out the perfect ride opportunity.
It was not perfect. It was absolutely not perfect. I'm going to disagree with you there, but yeah, it was good. But
can you imagine though? Can you imagine if you'd went back in time and told us in 2015, 10 years ago, that after Disney had bought Star Wars, that Lilo and Stitch sales would be bigger than Star Wars sales in a decade? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy how they've mismanaged it. But that's where we are.
I was just going to say real quick, I'm trying to think back when my last visit to Buc-ee's. I remember there being some Stitch merchandise, like on shirts and stuff in Buc-ee's.
No, Ron. That was brown fur. It's the beaver. It's not.
No, there's Bluey, there's Mickey Mouse, and there's Stitch. There's no Marvel or Star Wars. That's all I'm saying.
I see. Well, I'll tell you this, Buc-ee's is a great barometer, so go check out what Buc-ee's is selling, and you'll know what's hot. By the way, folks, if you're watching this video and you want to do your own research, be very careful on this topic. What I discovered in writing the article is that much of the data out there for merchandise sales for various licensed products and properties is based on a very faulty Wikipedia page, and everybody out there, even if they don't cite the Wikipedia page, they cite other people who are citing the Wikipedia page. And it was like this rabbit hole where eventually it all led back to a Wikipedia page. And when you would click to see, well, where do these crazy numbers come from? It would say citation needed. So just be wary, okay? Be very careful if you go out there trying to find the numbers. It took us much longer than usual because It appears that most of the information out there about this stuff is totally bunk. This, however, is not. As ever, folks, we endeavor to have a good time here on the Pro Channel, and I have to say that spending time with you, talking about things that truly matter, like the stories that shape our lives and our culture, well, it is the ride of a lifetime to steal from Bob Iger. And that's the only thing we'll steal from Bob because he has great security around his yacht. Folks, as we get ready to say goodbye, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear from you. And folks, worry not, for more content is still on the way. 3 or 4 times a day. Let's do 4. I think that's better. And you know what? Don't forget that the Pro Show is live Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern. You can also join us for our friends on That Park Place, our partner program. We have a good time there too. Folks, until the next time we get the opportunity to have a good time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
Want it all, so I give them cannonball. Yeah.
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be up. 3 days of you and me.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.